There's a bunch of awesome Nintendo Switch eShop games on sale right now, and we need to go over them so you can beef up your Switch library at a discounted price. Now, while you might not enjoy these videos, my friend and head of AEW security, Charlie, does. And well, if you watch AEW wrestler Sammy Guevara's vlogs, you would know, Charlie's had a little bit of a rough outing lately, and he's been drinking bleach. And don't drink the bleach, kids. But we have nearly 20 games to talk about, so we're skipping the intros and formalities. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, as all of these games are on sale as of March 18th, and you don't want to miss out on videos like this. Stick around till the end of the video, as we have 4 wildcard games that are on sale for $1.99 each that have a ton of promise. And without any further ado, let's just get into the games. First up is a bit of a controversial game. When I first reviewed it, a lot of people were like, it's not great, but you know what? I sincerely enjoyed this game, and that is Outer Worlds on the Nintendo Switch, which is currently on sale for $29.99. Now, yes, the game did have some problems in terms of performance when it first came out, but there's no Fallout-style games on the Nintendo Switch beyond the Outer Worlds, and I really enjoy the gameplay of the game. Now, since my initial review, there's actually been 2 patches that upgrade the performance of the game, and honestly, it looks and runs a lot better. If you watch some comparison videos of the original build of the game versus the build of the game that is on the Nintendo Switch right now, it has definitely improved. Of course, there is subsequent DLC packs that have released for the Outer Worlds and expand the story. At the end of the day, I played this game for over 30 hours in my first playthrough when I did my review of it, and I still had a lot of fun with it, even with the technical issues. And yes, maybe at $60 you can't look past those issues, but I think at $30 it's definitely worth checking out if you are a Fallout fan and do not own another console that can play the Outer Worlds on it, because at the end of the day, it's a very solid game and it has that great gameplay that keeps you wanting to explore and coming back for more. The next game is the best game of 2020 that nobody bought, and that is Immortals Fenyx Rising, which is on sale for just $29.99 as well. Now, if you're a fan of games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, God of War, Kid Icarus, and you enjoy 90s Disney-style humor, Immortals Fenyx Rising is an awesome game. There's a ton of stuff to do, there's a ton of stuff to see, ton of customization. It's a very big and vibrant world. Once again, this game has gotten subsequent DLC for it as well if you want to expand upon your journey. But even if you don't want to play the DLC, you just want to play the standard game, this game was absolutely phenomenal. And it's such a shame because everyone reviewed this game really well, but there was just sort of this Ubisoft burnout that we had occurred because there were so many Ubisoft games that came around right alongside of this game. I honestly feel this is one of the most underrated games of 2020. I did a full video on it. Make sure you guys go check it out. But if for some reason you've been on the fence about Immortals Fenyx Rising, at $30, it's an absolute steal. Fantastic game, and a game you're really going to enjoy. If you enjoy collections of games, we have 3 collections of games that are currently on sale for $19.99 a piece, meaning that you get multiple games for $20. Now, the first game we're going to talk about is the Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection. Look, this game comes with Assassin's Creed Unity. I've never played Assassin's Creed Unity. I don't really care to play Assassin's Creed Unity because this game has Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which in my opinion is the greatest pirate game of all time. It plays like an Assassin's Creed game, except you're a pirate and you get to go on ships and you get to blow up other people and take out other ships, and there's all sorts of crazy wildlife that's trying to kill you as well, and the gameplay is just absolutely awesome. The Nintendo Switch version of this game runs and looks beautiful. Whether you're playing it in dock mode or in handheld mode, this game is going to give you a ton of value, and like I said, you're getting 2 Assassin's Creed games in this bundle. Even if you just buy it for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I wouldn't blame you because that's my favorite Assassin's Creed game to date. Assassin's Creed The Rebel Collection is available for $19.99. The next 2 collections are the BioShock Collection and the Borderlands Collection, also available for $19.99 each. Now, once again, you're getting multiple games within the franchises of these games, and they all run very solid on the Nintendo Switch. Borderlands did have a few issues when it initially came out, but they've actually patched those issues to make the game run better. I actually ran into a weird glitch with a boss battle that didn't register as me beating it, and that was kind of annoying with that. But even if you just choose one of these collections, I think the BioShock Collection is the better better of the two collections. You're getting 3 BioShock games. The first 2 do play pretty similar, but I mean, it's sort of tied into the story. But BioShock Infinite really blew me away. I hadn't played it until I played the Nintendo Switch version of the game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely very different than the first 2 games, a lot faster paced as well, and I really enjoyed that about the game. You go to some really interesting locales as well. The only thing about the BioShock and the Borderlands collection is these are memory space hogs. You make sure you have an external memory solution, you know, a micro SD card with a lot of space on them. If you plan on picking up these games, you can pick and choose which of these games you download from the collection if you purchase the whole collection, which is a nice thing. But definitely 2 awesome collections with BioShock and Borderlands available for just $19.99 each. Speaking of memory space hogs, NBA 2K21 is available on the Nintendo Switch on the eShop right now for just $19.79. Shake down 1970. Now, when this game initially came out, I was not a huge fan of it, which is kind of weird because I am a big NBA fan, but I didn't like the shot stick mechanic that they added into the game. I thought it was very stupid and clunky, but they have done subsequent patches to improve the game, especially on the Nintendo Switch. Now you have multiple ways to shoot your shot, and while it's still not perfect, I think it's a lot better than when it was when it initially came out. If you like basketball, like this is the only real basketball game in town on the Switch, and while it might not be as impressive as the PS5 or the Xbox Series X versions of the game, it definitely holds up on its own, I feel. I still play the Switch version even though I play it more so on my Xbox Series X because it's nice to just kick back and play it on the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode. NBA 2K21 is available for $19.79. Shoutouts to Billy Corgan and the Smashing Pumpkins. Next up is a game that I actually have not picked up yet. I will be picking it up on this sale, and that is SuperHot, available for $14.99. Now, this game got a lot of notoriety for being a VR game, one of the best VR games, and it seems like the console version of the game is very impressive as well. The whole sort of mechanic with SuperHot is that you are put into a situation where you have to take out enemies via a gun, but it's sort of one of those things where if you get shot once, you're done for. So you're constantly sort of replaying levels and figuring out what the correct path is and what the correct area is to take out these enemies. It's almost like a first-person shooter puzzler game, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy this game. I've heard very positive things about the Nintendo Switch version of the game, and at just $14.99, I think I'm willing to take the chance to check out this game on the Nintendo Switch. Now, while Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle has been on sale on the Nintendo Switch very often, the Gold Edition that includes extra content plus the Donkey Kong DLC is currently on sale on the Nintendo Switch eShop for just $13.59, meaning that you get everything from the core game plus that additional DLC plus the extra stuff that was added into the Gold Edition of this game for $13.59. This is the lowest that this game has ever been on sale on the Switch eShop, and if for some reason this game isn't in your collection, it's time to put it in your collection. Whether you are a Mario fan or an XCOM fan, or for some reason a Rabbids fan, are there Rabbids fans out there? This game's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. It's definitely a very quirky and unique style of game where it's strategy based, moving on a grid, taking out enemies, but the Mario flair definitely adds a lot to this game. And like I said, this is the Gold Edition. You're getting all the additional content in the game, plus that DLC that released for it as well at just $13.59. Next up is a game that goes on sale pretty often. It's Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition for the Nintendo Switch, and it's on sale for $11.99. But if you have not picked up this game and you're a fan of action, adventure, and hack and slash games, like you're out of your mind. Even if you've played Devil May Cry 3 to death before, the Nintendo Switch version of the game is the best version of the game because they added in the ability to switch your weapons and your playstyle on the fly, which just adds so much more to this game. It still looks great. The story is interesting enough. Some of the combat and battles you encounter are just completely over the top. Just a brilliant game from top to bottom, and the Nintendo Switch version of the game is without a doubt the best version of the game. There are people on other platforms who are like, why don't we have these features in our versions of Devil May Cry 3? It's that damn good. Like I said, it's available for $11.99, and I highly recommend you pick it up. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That was like the biggest announcement ever, and it's back, and you can play it on your Nintendo Switch. It's a beat 'em up game based on a movie that I never really watched and I don't really care about. I still haven't picked up this game because I'm not like a huge Scott Pilgrim fan, but now Scott Pilgrim versus the World is available for $11.99 on the Nintendo Switch. I hear it's a game that I would really enjoy. Lots of references to other video games, great visuals, great music, and most importantly, great gameplay. Now, I heard that the online portion of the game was very, very wonky, where you team up online and play with other people. I'm assuming that that's been fixed since the initial release of this game, but like I said, this game is pretty new. It's available for $11.99, and I don't know, maybe I'll pick it up. Let me know in the comments section down below if you think this is a game I will enjoy. The next game on our list is a stealth game. It's kind of like Tenchu, and I guess people don't like stealth Tenchu style games anymore because this game never seems to sell well, and I'm always going to be a stand for it, and that is Aragami Shadow Edition on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is a super fun game. I played it when it first came out, and I was like, wow, this is really good. It honestly sort of reminds me a bit of Tenchu. There is that sort of element where you don't want to get caught by the enemies because they'll take you out, but you have a lot of abilities, including the shadow ability, in order to get behind enemies and take them out. A really fun, stylized game, a game that really makes you think. But if you like stealth games, this is probably one of the best stealth games on the Nintendo Switch. You like ninjas too? Like, buy this freaking game, man. $11.49 for Aragami Shadow Edition. Uno is the greatest card game of all time. Uno costs like $7 to buy a deck of Uno cards, but if you have a Nintendo Switch, Uno is on sale for $3.99, and I mean, it's Uno. Like, have you never played Uno before? I feel like everyone has played Uno. There are some additional modes in the game that sort of switch things up, but most importantly, this version of Uno has online. So you could dominate people online with Uno. I like Uno because it's not even really a skill-based game. It's more based on just what cards you get and what you manage to do with those cards. And because of that, because I am an idiot when it comes to things like board games, I can always enjoy Uno. And Uno is available for just $3.99. All right, kiddies, now we're getting into the cheap-ass portion of the video where we have 4 games available for just $1.99 a piece. Now, one of these games I have played, one of these games I haven't played, 2 of these games my friends have played, and they seem to like it, so we're gonna go over these games. The first game is a game called Dex. Now, technically, I have not played Dex on the Nintendo Switch. I played Dex on the Wii U, but I definitely enjoyed this game. It's an action RPG set sort of in a cyberpunk universe, and it's just a really solid game. This game released with very little fanfare on the Nintendo Switch, as it had already released on other platforms. It's not the greatest or most memorable game of all time or anything like that, but at $1.99, if you're a fan of action RPG games where you're constantly evolving your character, the story is very interesting as well. Like, this is better than Cyberpunk 2077. That game released at $60, and like you can't even buy it on the PlayStation Store yet because it's so broken. Whereas Dex, you could play a cyberpunk adventure and have some fun with it. Dex is available for $1.99 and definitely a game I recommend checking out. Our next $1.99 game is a game that I have not played, and it kind of has an interesting name. Tardy. T-A-R-D-Y. Can we say that word anymore? Like, I feel like we can't say that word, but I guess it is a character's name in the game. I guess his name is Tardy, and maybe he's just tardy to class or something like that. But Tardy definitely caught my eye at $1.99 because it sort of has that visual style of games like Out of This World or Another World, depending on what you want to call it. And I do enjoy those styles of games. Now, it's essentially like a faster moving point and click game where you're trying to solve puzzles and whatnot. I guess there is some combat in the game as well. Like I said, I've never played this game before. I'm pretty much just basing it on the trailers and some of the gameplay that I've seen, but if you like these slower paced, methodical style of games that have a nice art style and a nice sort of music style as well, I think this game could be sort of a hidden gem on the Switch at just $1.99. So Tardy. The next $1.99 game is a game that I have not played, but my buddy 8-Bit Eric did play it. He made a sort of gameplay video on it, and it honestly caught my eye, and that is a game called Cyber Protocol. Now, Cyber Protocol is sort of like a different take on Pac-Man. Like, you're essentially trying to collect dots, but there's little things that are happening on the map that sort of impede your progress. So it's like a puzzle Pac-Man style game, and I think the gameplay looks really fun. I like the visual style. The music in the video that Eric had was very, very solid as as well and very enjoyable to listen to. Like, yeah, it's not going to light the world on fire or anything like that, but if you're a fan of puzzle games that have sort of a Pac-Man feel to them, I think Cyber Protocol could be a good pickup at just $1.99. And the final $1.99 game is an RPG game called Legrand Legacy. Now, once again, I have not played this game, but I know Dreamcast Guy did a full review on it that I watched when it initially came out, and it's a cool looking sort of throwback RPG. It definitely sort of has an HD polygonal PS1 style, visual style to it, sort of reminiscent of games like Final Fantasy VIII in terms of the visuals, but a lot cleaner. And honestly, it just looks like a very solid JRPG. I'm sure it doesn't do much in terms of storytelling to set the world on fire or anything like that, but I thought the gameplay looked very nice, that sort of Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX style of gameplay, and it just looks like a solid RPG adventure. Dreamcast guys seem to really like this game, and at $1.99, if you're looking for a new JRPG, I would look no further than this. Whew! All right, we made it through the list of games. So like I said, there was a lot of games here. I tried not to cover one game for just too long, but I definitely wanted to get the news out about this sale because there's a lot of great games on sale, a lot of great games that I've played, and a lot of great games that I plan on picking up during this sale that I feel like everyone should know about. So let me know in the comments section down below what games you plan on picking up from this list or other games that are on sale. There's a lot of Ubisoft, Capcom related games on sale as per usual on the Switch eShop, but I thought these were the best deals that I saw and some of the games that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Charlie, stop drinking bleach. I swear, man, I swear. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.